Hello, and we're live.
Hi, how are you?
I am fine, thank you.
Good.
Yeah, so I know that we are a little bit delayed. So without further ado, I'd like to go ahead and ring the meditation singing bowl to clear our space and energy, and then we can get started.
Okay.
Yes, I hear your computer. It's going ring, ring.
It goes on and off. I got a new laptop recently. It's a refurbished one that was given to me, and I can't decide whether to add the new used laptop to my current Microsoft subscription and pay for two, or switch this one out and still just keep one on the account. I haven't decided yet. My
Mm.
subscription renews in a few weeks, so I need to make a decision.
Well, I know that I've been paying for two this whole time, and I didn't know. So I brought it down back to one. I was like, I was so used to, just, I thought that was the actual payment, but no, I had two subscriptions, and I think I remembered I bought one for my son, but I don't think he uses it. So
Right.
yeah, it's been like that for a long time. I was like, man.
I think I'm going to pay for the two because I don't know. The one that was given to me, it is refurbished, but I don't know. It's not like it's brand new or anything. Like, I don't know if it's going to have any issues or not.
Mm-hmm. I would just do one for now, and then if you feel like you're using both, then you get two.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, crazy times. Lunar eclipse, Virgo full moon. For the West Coast, it was late on the 13th and the wee hours of the 14th, this morning on the East Coast. So we're already have headed into a Libra moon for the weekend. But the a lunar eclipse generally has about a 6 month effect on whatever it triggers for you in your chart, wherever you have Virgo in your chart. So tomorrow, Mercury stations retrograde in the sign of Aries, and it will be retrograde until April the 7th. So, Virgo lunar eclipse is very much about introspection, inner work, spirituality. It's a very deep, soul searching kind of energy. Mercury retrograde is also an energy of introspection. So you've kind of got a double whammy with the full moon of everything being the mirror, and you're looking at yourself in the mirror, and you're delving deep into your subconscious mind to follow the threads of mysteries of why you do what you do, why do you manifest what you manifest, what are your patterns, things like that. So it's a very almost loner kind of energy where people are trying to figure themselves out, a lot of self discovery. Um, on a global consciousness collective level of spiritual awakening, people that have not really given their soul's purpose or destiny much of a thought, or been very 3D and bound to the matrix. This is going to be more intense for them because it's more of a newness. People that have been in metaphysics and a spiritual lifestyle ongoingly, I don't think will feel it as intensely, but it is a good time to, commune with nature and spend time journaling, or, extra time in meditation, and, you know, there's also a bunch of planets. Um, we've got a lot of Pisces, Aries kinds of energy along with this. So Aries, Aries is ruled by Mars. Mars is in Cancer, and it doesn't like being there. And there are aspects to the Mars that will make this energy prime for arguments, prime for upheavals and disruptions. So um, there's still that ongoing Uranus in Taurus energy, which is all about aviation. And, we continue to hear more about planes crashing and, rockets not making it into orbit and failed aviation types of subject matter. So one of the Mercury, Venus, and Aries retrograde uh, forms a conjunction, and it is very similar if you think back about what was going on in your life around the spring, April of 2017. This is a similar lunation. So if you think back about that time period, the faces might be different now, but the patterns would be similar. So it again is an opportunity to soul search. If things were going on then, what were they? And you might find that you're paralleling similar situations, not the same people. It could be people from the past, though, because retrograde energy will bring people from the past. So you might experience people or financial issues from the past resurfacing. That Venus is all about love and money, so it can bring the subject up of past loves or, um, financial happenings that could go good or bad. There's really not a good or bad to it. It's just how does it transit in your particular chart.
Mm-hmm.
So Venus stays retrograde until April 12th. So, while Mercury and Venus are together in Aries, both retrograde for the next, let's see, very close to a month, I'd give it a solid 3 weeks. That's also a feeling of delays and feeling stalled, like things are not happening fast enough. Money might not be coming in fast enough. One example that I've heard of recently was a lady receiving a medical bill, like years after the service was, and then out of the blue, she gets a bill from something that happened years ago. So that kind of weirdness that just doesn't is sort of nonsensical. And with the Mars energy there, that can mean it can make you angry, whatever it is. So it could bring up your feelings, that warrior inside of you. That's what Mars is. Another connection is, with Mars ruling Aries. Aries is the first sign of the natural zodiac. It represents children. And as we get closer to March 20th, the spring equinox is when the sun moves into Aries, and that brings a lot of attention to the inner child. So all of this introspection, things from the past, is deeply connected to our inner child work. And many times with adult relationships and patterns, it stems to things we learned as a child. So when I talk about soul searching or things in our subconscious mind, it could go very deeply back into connections with trauma from childhood or events that have shaped your adult life. Um, so, what else can I say? Was a blood moon. There's a lot of folklore about the blood moon in different cultures, but the general theme is that the moon is under attack, whether it be by a wolf or a dragon, or but it does with the eclipse. That's what gives it sort of a reddish hue. And I don't know if you looked at it last night or whatever, but it did have kind of this reddish hue to it. And so that is, eclipses are triggers of energy. And the moon is the mother, and it could also represent your maternal instincts for yourself towards others. As we get more into Aries energy later in the month, that brings children into the scene. So it could actually have to do with you as a mother to children, or you could be an adult, but it could be involving your mother. So all themes related to mother and nurturing and children will be with us over the next several weeks. It's a good time to try to purge any emotions of anger or grief that have been suppressed. Um, so as we have moved into the weekend and the moon moves into Libra, it'll be opposing that Venus and Mercury retrograde, and that oppositions mark life changes that are significant. So, Libra opposite Mercury Venus could mean delayed plans with social events. It could mean karmic kinds of interactions, kind of out of your control kinds of actions where uh, third party people are involved, and you can only control how you respond. It's sort of a big lesson in not being able to control how other people act or respond. It's more how, we allow or disallow them to pull our chain or push our buttons. So it's a great opportunity to learn how to have that sort of emotional balance and control over being too, zigzag with our emotions up and down through breath work. And again, recognizing the power in nature is very significant for this lineup. The spring equinox in the northern hemisphere is March 20th. That also happens to be International Astrology Day. And so anything, the sun will be making a conjunction to that Mercury and Venus also uh, in Aries. And this would be, again, bringing a big spotlight on love and money. Mercury and Venus. Mercury is communication, but when it's retrograde, it's miscommunication or hidden communication. Um, it does still support more of this eclipse energy about soul searching and introspection. I feel like I sound like a broken record on that, but those are the themes that we are in the midst of, and they will continue. So, some of the ways to celebrate International Astrology Day would be, contact your astrologer and get your chart updated, or take an astrology class, or um, you know start new healthy habits in Virgo. Virgo is about our health and well-being, and things like clearing a space of clutter in your home, uh, or creating a vision board, looking at your goals. Aries in astrology is the first of the year. So the solar year goes from April to March. So it doesn't start in January the way the Julian calendar would have us do. So this marks a time of the year that's new beginnings and making goals for your life, how you'd like your next solar year to unfold. Um, as we get closer to the end of March, March 29th, we're going to have a solar eclipse in Aries with the new moon. So March is, I believe, and we can double check this at the end of the year, but I believe March will be the standout month for 2025 because at the same time of that solar eclipse, we have Neptune transiting into Aries for the first time since 1861. And so that's a very different feeling. You know, Neptune has been in its home of Pisces for like 13, 14 years. And that's, you know, very comfortable there. And it's a very different dynamic for Neptune to transit into Aries. And I think we're going to see some really shocking kinds of um, illusions being blown because Neptune in Pisces is all about illusion and fantasy and not seeing things realistically. It shifts into Aries. Aries is the fire, you know, that's the things that's going to you know, bring shocking news, and it's also very creative energy. So, you know, finding creative ways to um, do new things is going to be a big skill set to have. Um, so 1861, I get very crossed up when anymore when we want to talk about mundane history because I don't think the history that we've been taught in the books is necessarily the truth. So that I think might be the beginning of something revealed to us about our own history and the illusion that's been spun to us through the educational system and generations. Um, and I think that a lot of it will be very shocking. But if you go by the history as we know it, 1861 was the beginning of the Civil War. You know, things that are taught in history books about what caused the Civil War, and then taking a deeper dive into what really did it cost, what really caused it, which, you know, in the South, it had a lot to do with um, the cost of tobacco and competing markets north. Some historians or groups of people would like to think the Civil War is all about racial tension between the North and the South. I have since felt like that was more political propaganda to incite people, and because there were plenty of soldiers of color in the Civil War, you know, fighting for the same things. So this is where, you know, we're in this period of don't believe everything that you think you thought you knew and be willing to see things uh, with the veil dropped because I just don't think that things are as they appear. And so I guess one common element of 1861 would be change, social change that we could apply to 2025 and the future with Neptune and Aries. I think we're already seeing that to a great degree, and that will continue. And one of the illusions is that there's some sort of, you know, perception of division amongst different types of people, when really, when you talk to all different types of people, we all want the same thing. We want clean water to drink, safe food to feed our children. We want our children to have safe homes and, areas where they can grow and raise families. So, I really don't care what culture you're from. We all, as humanity, have a common theme of wanting security and safety for each other. And so I think with spiritual awakening, that's the bond, that's the common ground that will tie in all of that theme, and all of the bickering or showboating that you see, like played out in drama in the news media and politics, is just that. It's a stage of drama, propaganda. It's an attempt to control people. But I think that we're beyond that point of control where enough has happened for people to kind of been able to see. I think of it as the Wizard of Oz, and we've drawn back that curtain and we see that the wizard is really just this, feeble little guy pulling, all kinds of ratchets and handles to create an illusion, the wizard.
Mhm.
So, keep your sense of humor about you would be one of my biggest mantras right now, because and don't believe everything you see, because we are in a tremendous shift of energy between two eclipses, an outer planet making a huge transition from their home water element to a fire element, which is very uncomfortable for that planet. So, before the year ends, all five outer planets will have changed signs. This is sort of a monumentous year for that. And that alone is going to create a different feeling. And one of my other pieces of advice under these shifts and changes is, you know, to be very aware of not being too reactive, like don't let your buttons get punched over something that you may see, um, but instead really try to see different perspectives and ask yourself, does it make sense? One of my favorite people is Judge Judy, and she always says, if it doesn't make sense, it's not true. So if it doesn't make sense, it's probably not the truth, and it's probably some story getting spun or web getting woven. And, Neptune will go retrograde. It will go back into Pisces later this year. It is not solid into new to Aries until the first of 2026, but we're getting a taste of it now. And so this will be that sort of transiting year of getting a feel for it. Then we'll go back into that Piscean illusion and, seeing things through rose colored lenses and, feeling appeased. But over the next, 13, 14 years with Neptune and Aries, it's definitely a time, I think, when really shocking truths would come forward. And that would be, when I think of that, I think of things like, you know, declassified files on Martin Luther King's assassination, the Kennedy's assassination, the deaths of different high profile people that maybe was written off as something natural, and we find out it was something nefarious. So I think we're, strapped in for some, really exciting kinds of news and events that, in the bottom line, set us free. It sets us free from that controlled group, you know, being fed a story. And I think you're frozen. I think there you are. Okay. So What is it? We're in the Cal Yuga with over 4,000. Yes, enjoy yourself later. Yeah. So there's some different cultures with different, there's another 26,000 year cycle that we can pin back to. There's energy here that could pin back to the 1500s when Henry VIII separated from the Catholic Church. That was a huge, warlike drama, and he established himself as the head of a church. So that could play off as seeing different religious sects, sects, um, reforming, changing. So, on so many levels, whether it be religious or domestic or, um, the artificial intelligence, all the technology associated with the Uranus transits, um, it's just, if we thought we weren't going to be traveling like, you know, the George Jetson cartoon, I think that is within our lifetime. They've already experimented with flying cars. They've already, planned to make uh, trips to Mars or make Mars habitable. So we're in like a whole new world, and it's full of fascination and possibilities. And for each of us on a personal level, I think it is first sort of purging our demons and whatever have been the patterns of energy that have held us back from that creative freedom and creative expression, that no one's going to come and give us permission to express ourselves. And there will be, with the Mars transit, an element of violence. So I would just say, you know, um, like, I know that there's just nefarious activities that will incite groups to just go and be violent for no other reason than they're being paid money to be violent. And it's supposed to make some kind of statement. It's supposed to scare us. It's supposed to keep us at home. And that's the worst thing we could do, is feel scared and somehow controlled by some larger wizard in the sky. So there is no wizard, and it ultimately is all going to come down to each individual in their region and community to help each other. The disasters in North Carolina and Los Angeles, were total devastation with fires or floods. I mean, that's what makes neighbor help neighbor. And kinds of um, those are the kinds of energies that humanity is evolving more into, of more localized community help, not so much as Pluto in Capricorn, big government dictating over, groups of people. Pluto is now into Aquarius. That's about humanity and wanting to be free and individual and being allowed to express ourselves individually. So, a very creative uh, time, even if you haven't considered yourself to be creative necessarily. I would encourage you to tap into that part of your energy to assimilate these different shifts and changes. And I think you'd be really pleased with what you could produce and directions you could go in with your own, you know, individual thought, and not letting anyone else or anything else dictate to you what maybe has been a pattern we've believed we're supposed to follow for generations. So this is generational change, and you can either hide under your bed and feel fearful and scared, or you can embrace it and come out into the sunlight and, you know, dig in the dirt, um, learn how to paint murals, bring something beautiful to your community. It could be starting a community garden. It could be helping, like the types of work organizations like Habitat for Humanity, where they take rundown buildings and rehab them into, centers that offer community assistance. Um, I think this energy is going to has caused and will continue to cause a crisis in the mental health field. I think this is the kind of energy that um, can really make people question their mental strength. And so, how do you take care of your mental health? Well, you first off breathe and make sure that you are um, giving yourself the basics: nutrition, sleep, gentle exercise, meditation. And the body is a magical organism that can heal itself if your mind believes it can. And these are the kinds of subject matters people are looking for, is natural ways to heal. And all this talk about the food chain and agriculture and farming and hormones and chemicals, you know, people are starting to reject these really, bad foods for you, even though they're marketed as good things for you. They're not when you read the labels. So
Mhm.
more of that will be a trend too. And so the more you can do individually to just take that bull by the horn, and there will be cycles of resurfacing grief or anger, and you learn how to embrace that. Number one, don't push it down, but embrace it and express it in some kind of positive, creative way. And I think the obvious answer to that is nature, whether it's get out and take a walk, or, um, a journal and just sit somewhere quietly to get your thoughts down in front of you. That can be a very cathartic experience. So, listening to music, um, just anything that moves that energy on, being aware of your energy centers within your body, and that they are purging and moving through blockages so that you're not repeating karmic patterns. You're recognizing something or other, and, you know, if you need to cry it out to get over it or whatever, you do that. Tears can be very healing as well. So, very kind of up and down, emotional roller coaster kinds of energies. And I wish I could say that it's just going to be smooth sailing and a smooth ride over the next few weeks, but I think it's going to be um, quite energetic. And I like to look at it as opportunities to hone our tools for processing, adverse emotions or energies. Um, Being open, don't respond quickly, but just, you know, listen more than you speak would be another good words of wisdom for this time.
Well, that sounds good. Um,
I pulled out a deck of cards that I can't remember. It's been a long time since I ever used them. This is called the Voyager Tarot,
okay.
James Weymouth. And so that's kind of what I think we're on, is sort of a voyage, a journey that's taking us into different directions. So I don't know what you'd like to pull cards from, but that's the one I chose tonight.
Today I've chosen the Maruk deck. Um, it has like a lot of good advice in this particular one.
Oh,
So,
good. We
uh,
need good advice.
yeah, yeah, I know.
We need to slow down. And you know how I was talking about, um, we're heading towards a generation of more Lemurian type of society where
Hmm.
telepathic communication will become more and more common. And you may, I mean, we've already started seeing some of that with artificial intelligence that, you can think something and the next thing you know, it's coming up on your phone. How do they do that? How does that happen?
So recently, I was just watching something, and I don't know, his name. I think Braden or some B something.
Greg Braden. Yeah, he's great. You
Yeah,
know Greg Braden?
yeah, I think that's
Yeah.
him. The older guy, not
So he
too.
was he was a like nuclear physicist, and
Oh,
he quit his high paying corporate job, and one of his first books was well, he studied like the science of light.
right. Yeah, he was more of a scientist, and he knew
Mhm.
about geology and.
And then he went into metaphysics and quantum
Mhm.
physics, and yeah, he's done some great work. Any of his books I would recommend.
So I think
I'm
what
sorry,
he
I didn't
was.
mean to interrupt you.
No, no, I almost forgot what I was
I
talking
know. I'm sorry.
about.
I should have let you continue, but I love him. I have followed him a long time.
Yeah, I can't really remember, but I think the thing about him was that he said in 5 years, which isn't too far from now, is that we will be integrated with AI in some form or fashion.
Yeah,
But the problem is that what we need to do, and we have the ability to change to just be more human. And what he talked about was like human divinity rather than
right.
being like
The ego.
assimilated, yeah, like through artificial intelligence.
Right,
So he said that there could be like it's eventually going to happen that we'll have like this AI technology embedded within us, but he says that we are actually the AI
right,
because we're the ones that are creating it.
right,
So therefore, we will possibly make it become a reality. But he said that what what AI craves is the humanness, the
right.
human like
Connection.
connection
Mhm.
to feelings or just emotions. And that is something that AI can only understand,
Right,
but don't really have the ability to do because the human he was talking about the human body is actually very important because we're made out of like blood, neurons, very complicated system, like the human system, as
right.
opposed to like the artificial, man-made. s-
Humanoid.
Yeah. So yeah, it was just really
Interesting.
interesting. Yeah. Um,
Well,
yeah.
that kind of goes along with the concept of we're returning eventually to like the times of Atlantis. People moved their bodies with the power of their mind. So, it's uncovering the calcified, pineal gland, and understanding the power within us with our energy, to be able to have thought and think things to happen.
Mhm.
And I think of AI a lot in terms of the medical field, like helping spinal cord injuries and them being able to implant chips that help people walk again, or there's a lot of technology to help in the medical field with people that um, you know really have had some horrible injuries, and how these robotics and AI can help make their life tremendously different.
Mhm. Mhm. I think there's pros and cons to everything. It's just
Yes,
having balance is key.
yes.
um,
And, you know, again, I've gotten very skeptical about any history that I read anymore because I just think we've been bamboozled in a lot of ways. And one of the things that makes me think of is, you know, what really did happen to Atlantis and Lemuria.
mhm.
You know, one theory is that they did, you know, take artificial intelligence too far and they destroyed themselves.
Mhm.
Um, or do you believe that there's, you know, massive earthquakes and shifting of the Earth's plates that destroyed the cities just by flooding? So,
Mhm.
you know, I don't know what to believe anymore about history. I'm anxious to see over the next few years what unfolds, that could maybe bring some light to the human myths or folklores that we've believed that were just not true.
Well, that was another thing that a guy was talking about like the ice age and the different periods that
Right.
like he said he did like carbon dating or carbon whatever. So he said the weather uh that happened a long time ago, like where the temperatures had dropped, was a thing, and very similar to like the temperatures that we actually have in current day. He believes that the global warming or whatnot is a natural occurrence, if not maybe fake. but
And
but
maybe,
like we
yeah,
didn't have that technology back then, so like he feels that maybe history repeats itself, like that's like a normal occurrence that we have on the planet, that it naturally,
cycles, yeah,
yeah, it cycles and stuff, like it's natural, it's not like something that we're doing,
right.
per se. But we can help because we're all kind of connected to this planet. So there are ways to kind of help in that situation. But I think the other thing is talking about the global agenda and how they wanted to control certain things. Like he went down the rabbit holes. I don't know. I was sleeping
Yeah, yeah.
and I heard all this stuff. So
It's
yeah.
interesting because, you know, we don't think it was manipulated thousands of years ago, but what if other um, groups of people or civilizations with much more advanced ability than we've yet to know interfered with our planet? You know, I mean, do we believe that we're the only planet in the galaxy that has life? Are we, you know, Sylvia Brown did that work through hypnosis all those years ago about the ancient mysteries and secrets of the ancient world, I believe is the name of the book. And through her work through hypnosis, she kept files. And after 20 years of doing that kind of work, she put together um, this book that spoke to people who didn't know each other at all, would go into hypnosis and speak to like similar experiences, like building the pyramids, and that there is this theory that they were built by um, spaceships from another world. They were some sort of landing pattern. And, you know, when you see the archaeologists on National Geographic about them, it doesn't make sense that the type of stone in that region wasn't from there, it was from hundreds of miles away. So, how could people that we think just invented the wheel were able to move? Then there's another theory that, with the power of the mind, they could move. A lot of the hieroglyphics do show like technology in the stone, like what might look like a smart watch to us now, but you know, discovery of computer type elements back in the ancient times. So who knows? It's sort of a hybrid of everything we've thought. But I guess what I feel that these trends are astrologically for us here and now have to do with taking our blinders off and being really open minded to what the possibilities could be, and that nothing is as it's been taught to us, nothing is as it seems, and not to get freaked out about that, but to try to embrace it as, man, this is really exciting. It's not the black and white picture we thought it was, or the vanilla flavored um, propaganda, that there really have been those rabbit holes like he speaks to, and some pretty phenomenal um, things that have been hidden from us,
Mhm.
like, is there a whole nother civilization living within the center of the earth? Yeah, that's another one. It's just so interesting to me of all the possibilities, and that's what I try to encourage people to do is, you know, maybe science fiction isn't fiction. Maybe there's reality to some of these fantasy type of movies and things that Hollywood has produced, and maybe there's an element of truth to it.
Mhm. Mhm.
But what we've seen in, our sort of benign media is what is the wizard, but what's behind the curtain is very different.
Right. Yeah, because I think it's being cherry picked,
I
like
think it's very exciting. I mean, I work with people that this just terrifies them. They're just terrified of things going on, and I'm like, why? It,
there's
you
nothing
know,
to really be afraid of, but you know,
it's an exciting opportunity to see how. Uh, I'm not going to say this word right. I want to say the ingenuity of humankind, you know,
mhm.
and how really fascinating our minds are and our abilities. And I think we've been like a wet blanket's been thrown on humankind for a long time, and sort of manipulated into a certain belief system, and
Well, I think that the somehow like the veil is like
coming
right.
down.
Yeah, it's like, and then there's nothing that whatever that they've been doing that is preventing it. It's like naturally happening
And
through.
that's exciting, right?
Mhm.
I mean, that means that it's not the storyline that we've been told. Just like, you know, through Tai Chi, it's taught, and probably through Buddhism too. Energy is ongoing. That our body might drop away, but our essence and our energy ongoingly thrives and lives. And what if what we're doing right here and right now is, one existence, and when we lay our heads down and, let go of the control of the ego in this body, and we travel somewhere else, the
Mhm.
body of light. And, that would explain a lot about deja vu or premonitions through dreams. And
Waking up tired.
right, right, exactly.
Ah,
Busy.
yeah,
Yeah.
busy all the
And
time.
all of that's been very interesting to me for a long, long time. And to see it come out more, like
Like
talked about.
socially
Yeah.
accepted and like it's not like you know,
But you said the key word a minute ago, and that is balance.
mm-hmm.
Finding the balance in all the shifting and changing, but also, keeping your head about you that, even though, say, the stock market drops, so many people are so tied to, their money and the economy. And say one day it just all bottoms out like it did like 2008, which this is possible. I mean, these energies are very similar to those back then. And so you can either go into, some negative reaction of it, or you can detach yourself emotionally about that it means anything, that it's just another energy. And if you truly live spiritually, in your essence that you always have what you need.
Mm-hmm.
Always have what you need. That is like when people get fearful and worried, I consider it a crisis in faith, because if you are truly connected to your spirit and not this material world, you always have what you need, and that spirit is ongoing. And for a long time, people that would talk this way, you know there were even decades when you'd be put in an insane asylum, right? You just weren't right. But it's interesting how cycles of society have changed and ebb and flow. And I think for anyone that's interested in metaphysics, these are really exciting times to be in, because it does prove the point that, you know, maybe some of the conspiracy theories aren't theories, but are actually true.
Mm-hmm.
I work in this office, and I forget what the subject was. And oh, so one of the attorneys has a picture of him on the wall in his office with the Supreme Court Judge Scalia. And, it's kind of an old picture, and everybody was younger. And I saw it, and I was like, do you believe that he was murdered? He goes, oh, no, he died of natural causes. And I was like, but he was found with a pillow over his face. I mean, kind of weird. And so, here's this really, like dialed in matrix dude looking at me like I have four heads, because, you know,
You
I'm,
challenged.
I'm reverbing this conspiracy theory, supposedly. He goes, oh, I don't believe those conspiracy theories. And I just piped up and says, I love conspiracy theories. Love them. And if they turn out true, even the better. But, there's a whole huge segment of very three-dimensional folks that we all live and work and have as family members that, I mean, they will argue to their last breath to stand on something that, has been a belief that they just don't want to let go of, even if it were proven, hands down. So one of the things that um, I'm so curious to see come true is tribunal TV.
Mm-hmm.
Like if we do have like a complete collapse of the market and real disruption, I think at this point we're having inconveniences, but some major event of disruption, that there will be televised tribunals of very well-known people that we have propped up in society, who have been doing really criminal activities. And a lot of a lot of what we're seeing now aren't even the real people because they've already been tried and executed. And I feel I just can't wait for Tribunal TV. I maybe I'll be sitting here 10 years from now still wanting to see Tribunal TV, but I'm ready for it. And for people like my boss that, thinks conspiracy theories are crazy, I'm really excited for them to see it because I
Mhm.
think that there'll be a segment of people that you can put it right in their face, right in front of you, and they still will want to fight that it's not true.
Well, I think it's because like AI is taking over, and it's hard to tell, or it
It
maybe
is.
maybe it's more believable now because they're mixing so much fantasy with
Right.
reality, and so at that point we become more desensitized to
Right.
the truth. I think it's kind of a psyop situation almost.
Absolutely.
Like
Yeah.
they're just letting it out. Like I've seen recently, like and they did this with pugs, but recently I saw it with cats. Like cats were serving up McDonald's and stuff, and they were really super cute. And they're and like the kitty was like doing the French fries, and then
Oh,
was taking a bite into like a
oh,
hamburger, and then like putting mayonnaise on a bun, and it
that's
looked real. It was cute and realistic.
right.
So I think that like like that AI, like it's becoming more realistic to where it's believable.
Well, and we need to learn how to distinguish it.
Hmm.
Like I'll look at some of these um,
I think it's
journalists.
like really fast because remember I talked about like the pizza, like the Domino's pizza situation, and I was talking to the AI voice, and
Right.
she was talking
Right.
in a dialect that was more human like taking
Right.
pauses and breaths,
Right.
and like, did you mean that
Right.
you wanted
Yes.
like what
Yes.
the heck?
It's weird, isn't it?
It is, and it seems like they're learning really quickly, or
Yeah.
becoming more believable.
Intuitive. They've they're harnessing that third eye intuitive part, where
It's
they'll intuit from your reaction what they need. It's just so weird. But
it's
like on TV, watching like news reporters or the weather person, I catch myself really wanting to look closely like, is that a real person?
or is that an AI that they put
Right,
on the screen?
right. That's what I want to get really good at is being able to distinguish what is what.
Hmm.
Because
It's
some of them are too perfect. I mean, that's one of the things is some of them are just, the asymmetrical face, the synthetic hair, the eye movement. Those are some of the things that kind of get you thinking like that's not really a human being.
hmm. Well, I think we're like going that way because like like how like people are on Instagram and they're putting on filters and stuff like that.
Right.
So I think that was like kind of like the preliminary,
Yeah.
thing, but now that you could probably create a whole AI version of yourself,
I know. Too
um
weird.
or swap out your avatar and
Right.
have the likeness of something, but like be something totally different, right?
Right.
Like,
It's so weird.
anyway, okay, we're on Aries.
It's an exciting time.
I
So
know.
this is Virgo lunar eclipse full moon. Yeah, we're pulling
Mm,
cards on. Yeah.
yeah. And so for Aries,
And whatever you're feeling is probably going to have an effect for about 6 months.
is that all aspects, or is it just
Uh,
like,
the eclipse Virgo, the Virgoian sort of energy from this eclipse,
mm,
which is health related, which is employment related, um, small animals, um, services, and
Mhm.
what you bring as a service and what services you need. So, what have I got? I've got Nine of Wands. These cards are very busy, they have a lot going on.
Okay, and I have plan your career.
Oh,
And create milestones and have a strategy to yourself. Uh,
for success.
for six. Yeah, I was reading it backwards. I can't. Is it like the right way for you?
Yes, I can read it.
Okay, it's coming up backwards for me. Uh,
Create milestones and have a strategy to set yourself up for success.
mm,
And this is Nine of Wands. So that's very creative fire energy.
mm-hmm.
So Aries is probably going to be pretty busy.
Yeah, but the nine is actually a struggle. It's like the burden, having all those sticks on their back. But in your depiction, it looks like a fantasy, right? I mean, it's like a world within a world.
It is weird. And it also says integrity.
Mm-hmm.
So this is also, remember, Mercury and Venus are retrograde together in Aries for the next 3 weeks, and the Sun will transit into Aries on the 20th. So that is compulsive, it is headstrong, and very childlike. So this could be like a tantrum energy too.
Mm-hmm. Well, I also see here like the vision board, like
Oh,
being
yeah.
spiritual or like money and just being creative, like you said. And there's a child. You were talking about this is a time of like looking at your inner child. So this is about maybe being reflective of, what was your goals and dreams as a child,
Yeah.
and are you in your integrity at this point, or are you acting out of, like, I guess, other things? I guess that's a like a integrity check, maybe about the careers that or something that you're thinking of. So, um,
Very active energy.
yeah, because I think that maybe Aries has like an idea as to like what they want, but like are they going about it the right way? Because they're always like go 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 go, but they need to slow down and really think about it. Yeah, create milestones. Because for the Virgo in me, that's what I would do. I would make my list and like make the milestones.
This has like architectural kinds of elements to it,
Mhm.
like a cathedral and a temple and a skyscraper and a mountain. So it's like this moving upward or looking up. I want to say look up, Aries.
Mhm. Mhm.
Interesting.
Yeah, so it's a time for
Complicated
planning
card.
and not like really trying to do so much. Like
Right,
maybe after like this energy, then they can
right.
move forward. Yeah.
Try to coast over the next 3 weeks.
Yeah, that might be hard for them because it's going leading up to uh
Yes,
their energy, their birthday.
right. I think so. Mercury stations direct on the 7th, and Venus stations direct on the 12th, somewhere like that. So it's still the first 2 weeks of April are still retrograde.
So we just need to make it until like late April. Is that what you're saying?
For Aries, anyway.
Yeah. All right. For Taurus, I have something positive. I have glow up.
Woman of Cups, and it says the rejoicer.
Okay, so this one says, take a day to spoil yourself. If it makes you beautiful, then do it.
Oh, look. And look at all the
Mhm.
flowers. And she's really happy.
Yeah, this is like makeover day or just beautifying yourself and
So, Queen of Cups, I guess, is what Woman of Cups would be. And that's, you know, nurturing and self love. And
buying yourself flowers, putting glitter on. Yeah.
yeah, this is
Like
a nice
dream.
energy for Taurus.
Yeah, I mean this is your glow up, so whatever you think, go ahead and do it or it will come. Um yeah, so it's like that dreamy energy of like maybe like doing well almost and but also if you can take the time to pamper yourself and if you haven't, go ahead and do it.
So, Uranus and Taurus is making a sextile to this sun, and that is also ease. Sextiles are easy flows of energy, and that would be between the sun and Uranus. So, that is, you know, very innovative and um, Taurus having focus on their psychic faculty, which they're not known for. They can be very hard headed, but while the sun is still in Pisces, that still helps them with their
Dreams.
third eye. Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
Taurus can like be a workaholic too.
Yes. The taskmaster.
hmm Okay, next we have Gemini.
Gemini, the twins. Let's see. This is the Hanged Man. And again, these cards just have so much symbology. This is like a broken goblet and a bird.
Hmm. Oh, and it's like a portal, looks like.
Yeah, you've got bounce back.
And it says, "Don't give up. All is not lost. Get back up and keep trying." So bounce. Well, I don't know if they'll bounce back from that portal hole though.
I too get burnout energy, bounce back,
Mhm,
burnout.
mhm. And what is that? Is that a black flamingo? I
It
can't tell.
is. Yeah, it's some
Oh,
kind of like a some kind of blackbird.
yeah, and I see a face coming out of a head, like hands.
Hands, yeah.
Ah,
What else is going on here? We've got the portal and
I,
like a
I get
vortex.
like being nurtured or something like that, bounce back. Like they need to be coddled.
Yes, and there's like a broken goblet. So don't cry over broken glass.
Mm. Yeah, so there
Yes.
might be something deeper than we know for Gemini.
Yeah,
Uh,
those that red reminds me of like red flames of some sort or
mm-hmm. Like something's being illuminated, like something hard. But
yes.
interesting.
And there's a path down here.
Mm-hmm.
There's like a
Can't tell if
narrow.
that's a dragonfly or what is that? A star? Like
Yes,
golden.
yes, it's some kind of.
That person's holding on to it.
I don't know what that is. It looks like some kind of spiritual light or.
Okay. Well, at least they're holding on to like, don't give up, bounce back.
Right, right. They're in a bit of a whirlwind. The hanged man, I guess, traditionally is a crisis in faith. You can tie yourself upside down to a tree, having the faith that you'll survive and be renewed.
Mm-hmm.
Also, be delays.
But yeah, I mean, I get the vibe. Let's stand up tall
Yeah,
and bounce back. Like having the faith, like you said, just having a belief. So, okay.
yes.
So next we have Cancer.
So we have Mars in Cancer right now, and that's not a comfortable energy. So Cancerians could be experiencing some kind of challenging emotions.
Well,
They might
so
be more grumpy than usual. This is Devil's Play.
Devil's Play. Okay. And I have find a mentor. Find a mentor in your field who can help you reach your goals faster.
This is all kinds of like fantasy mushrooms and fantasy, like mythological characters. And there's that mask. See the mask?
Yeah, and there's a flute, like somebody's playing the Pied Piper.
Yes.
um,
This is a really. So this is maybe Cancer facing their demons.
hmm
Cancer.
Find someone that's going to help you reach the top. You might get a lot of fakes, I guess, along the way. But I don't know. It's a really tough energy here that I'm seeing. If you want to reach this, I don't know if you have to play devil's advocate or something. I don't know.
Yeah. So Cancer is a cardinal sign, and that those are the leaders. They like to lead. With Mars in Cancer, that might be kind of hard for them to get their arms around what they need to do to move forward.
Mhm. So
And
maybe it's like a torn energy between 2 things, because I see here like buddy, devil-like energy,
right,
you know, but then, there's this energy of finding the mentor that's going to help you get out of maybe the illusion or something.
right. And what
Um,
does a goat represent?
so I think about Capricorn like the devil.
There's a lot. Oh, yeah. There's a lot of masks in this card.
Mm. Yeah, so
So
I don't know.
ritual masks represent different dimensions, right?
Mhm, mhm.
I just get that Cancer's fighting their demons. They need some help.
Yeah, they might be stubborn, right? But if you look for it, it will come.
Hang in there, Cancer.
Yeah, that's really difficult.
It is difficult.
All right, so next we have here Leo.
What does Leo have to say? Seven of Worlds breakthrough. Wow, this is like planets and a fucking stallion. Oh, that's funny.
Oh, I have crystal healing. That's
Oh,
interesting. It says use crystals to raise your vibration and renew your energy.
oh, I like that. This is like a whole galaxy of planets with a horse racing through there. Breakthrough.
Hmm.
Interesting.
Well, maybe like surrounding yourself with crystals and stuff that you'll have like a breakthrough moment, kind of like a sense of clarity. Um, and how many wands is that? What does it say?
Seven.
Okay, so that's like defending yourself.
Seven of Worlds is what it calls it.
Hmm.
And let's see. Is that people up there? I don't know what that is right up here at the top. It's
I don't
fire.
know. It's like water coming out. I don't know. It's so weird. And I see that horse.
Got that horse.
Like maybe it's a breakthrough from the other the illusions.
Yeah.
Um.
And crystal healing.
Mhm. Yeah, so I would just do meditation and just surround yourself with crystals, and then you might get like a sense of clarity on
Go
something.
horseback riding.
Yeah, that would be nice.
That is definitely an otherworldly image.
Mm-hmm.
We were talking about celestial travel and maybe transiting between different
Planets.
planets and like time travel.
Yeah, I think
And here's the Virgo with the Virgo.
lunar eclipse.
Yeah. So what do we got here? Child of Wands, the Seeker.
Sorry. I have fuck being nice.
Oh,
Be
be
nice, but
nice, but
not too
not too
nice.
nice. Not
Yeah.
everyone deserves your kindness. I like that.
Yeah. Fuck them.
Yeah.
And then what's that say at the very top?
Seeker,
Seeker. Hmm.
Child
Maybe
of Wands.
so, I think Virgo is a service individual and they always aim to please. So, maybe Virgo is taking a step back and say, fuck them. I'm tired
Set
of like,
some healthy boundaries. So this is a deer in the center here, which symbolizes gentleness.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
We've got a person looking up to the heaven.
What's that big mouse? I can't tell. Yeah, it looks like a
Yeah.
mouse with little
And a wolf.
Buddhist.
So we have like our small animals here.
Oh, yeah, yeah. So, maybe Virgo does too much, and maybe Virgo just needs to take
Is
their
that a
med.
person like sitting in a yoga position?
They're meditating. Maybe this is about meditating and think about like, why is Virgo being an overachiever? Why are you bending over backwards? So like recently I had someone purchase like bath salts for me, and this lady, she had booked a reading with one of my friends. So she is a hypnotherapist. We were supposed to do a session for her to clear her energy, and she's in Ireland right now, and it's been over a month or two, right? It's been a while. And this lady's been very, very patient, and I felt really bad because it took so long. Now, it's not my fault. It's my friend who's still on vacation, but she was the one who told me that she was willing to do it. So, out of just being polite and for her being patient, I decided to give her free shipping. So when I packed all the boxes and stuff, first of all, the shipping didn't really cover one of the packages, that she did pay for. And then I already gave her a refund back. And the shipping on the other box is like more than what she had paid. And I'm like, fuck.
I've done that before. That, yeah.
So I'm like, man, I was like, I was trying to be nice, but I fucked
Yes.
myself over for being nice.
Yes.
So
Yes.
yeah. So I can vouch for that. So it's fine. I mean, I know I'm doing it out of the goodness of my heart, but I
Yes.
went over and beyond. And the lady did ask. She's like, "Are you sure?" I was like, "Yeah, it's fine." And I was like, "Oh fuck!" When I saw the balance, I was like, maybe it wasn't fine."
Right. Well, maybe
But,
she'll come back and buy more.
yeah, she's always been a good customer. That's why I did it anyways. But yeah, I mean, yeah, it is what it is. But anyways, we're on Libra.
See, these cards are very much about other galaxies. This is
The voyage, right?
child, yes, child of crystals, the learner.
Okay. I have three that came out for Libra. The first one is ground yourself, and it says get grounded in your body and connect back to Earth. So maybe they're kind of out there in the sky. Next one is challenge yourself. Challenge yourself to do better. Don't set limits on your potential. So this could be like, how Libra has a hard time of making decisions and stuff.
Yeah.
And then finally, nutrition, which I think we talked about. Your body is your temple. Try changing your eating habits. So there's a lot of nuggets here for Libra. Maybe it's time to get healthy. Maybe you need to push yourself, but you have to ground yourself and not, be out there, but like be present. Um, and then,
And this, I guess with the children, that's more of that inner child message.
mhm. What does the top say again? Learner?
Yes.
Okay, so maybe Libra needs to learn how to be gentle to themselves, or even if they have children. Like even for myself, I was talking about trying to like do something for my son so that he can gain proper weight. Because I'm not sure if he's. I don't know. I mean, it's not like I'm feeding him garbage, but I think that he needs like a proper diet. Like a better diet. Um, yeah. So if you haven't been challenging yourself, maybe it's time to push yourself, but you have to stay grounded. It's a lot for Libra too.
Yeah. They're very
Yeah.
social, so maybe the this energy is a time to be, like sort of pull back all the
Yeah,
things
pull
on
back,
top.
read a book, learn as much as you can, focus more on like you and yeah, and maybe this is about connection to the mother also.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so next we have here Scorpio.
So we have feeler. This is child of cups. Lots of children.
Yeah,
So interesting since we're going into Aries energy here with
the child.
children. Yeah.
Oh, wow. I have here the third eye chakra. The third eye chakra is out of balance.
And this is feeler. So Scorpio is known for extremes. Their lesson in life is to learn moderation.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe this eclipse has them a little out of sorts and needs to nurture their inner child and take ownership of some difficult feelings, maybe.
Yeah. So if your third eye is blocked, you have to probably do some proper meditation and really feel. Like, what do you feel that you can't see? Because, Scorpio is also like somewhat psychic also, right? Like they try to dig deep into the truth. So whatever that you're feeling, um,
There's a
do
lot
not.
of children in my card,
Mhm. Yeah.
and that's sort of a not really a rainbow in the back, but some sort of arch of light.
Mhm. Yeah. Well, I do see the rainbow in the very, very back. Um,
It almost
right.
looks like balloons or something celebratory. These kids look happy, confused.
Growing, growing up a little bit.
Oh, let's see. Here is. This looks like a veiled sleeping figure, and maybe they're dreaming of their childhood. See here at the bottom?
Oh yeah, there it looks like they're scuba diving down there, huh?
Yeah. So maybe all these other children are versions in their subconscious that they're thinking about.
It's the bottom. It says Child of Cups, so that must be Page of Cups energy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, it's just like how do they feel? Like maybe they're too afraid to express how they're feeling. Um because they can't see. Sometimes, like people they want to be sure, like they want to have something concrete. But if they don't know, then they're very timid and they don't want to express their feelings.
Is this something skeleton like there?
I don't know, but it looks like a face to me. Like a
Yes,
face.
this is. Yes.
Oh no, no, behind it. It looks like a
Oh,
face going down, like where the balloons are. Like there's a face going down where your finger is.
right here.
No, no, like where your middle finger is.
Oh, here.
Yeah, you see there's a
Oh,
face.
yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
So there's a sleeping figure here and a sleeping figure here.
Mhm. They're sleeping and sleeping, going to slumber. And
And then these two do look like they're sad. This one's happy. There's some happy kids and some sad kids. So I feel like Scorpio is working out a lot of subconscious things.
mhm, mhm. I would say, just do some meditation over the weekend. What is it that you feel deep down inside and work on that energy. Because a lot of the feelings, and you don't know what the feelings are, like if you're feeling unsettled or whatnot, it's probably deep within your subconscious energy. And then if you know how to do meditation or go into some sort of hypnosis on yourself, then you'll be able to feel like what that thing could be
So
that is
here's
bothering you.
another baby, and this is like a tropical fish.
Mhm.
So don't fish represent spirituality?
Mhm. Mhm.
A lot going on there in the subconscious for Scorpio. You know, one of the jokes about Scorpio, let's see, how does it go? It's something like, I had a boss that used to say this. It's something like, talking about his mind, and if I were you, I wouldn't want to be in there. Like, their mind is so deep and
Fucked.
complex. It's like, I wouldn't want to be in there.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Next, we have Sag, which is not as deep and complex, I don't think.
No. Let's see. Eight of Cups, and this says stagnation. It looks like, I don't know, this looks like some kind of weird relic or something.
There's a bunch of flowers, and looks like there water down there. I can't
I
tell.
think so. It almost reminded me of something at the bottom of the ocean.
Hmm. Oh, look. We have here self exploration, and
Uh,
it says peel off the false persona and get to know yourself and find the truth. So, wow, this is deep.
let's see at the top, this says stagnation.
So maybe you've been procrastinating to go deep within yourself instead of like going like to places. The place that they haven't gone is deep within.
So, an Eight of Cups, isn't that about commitment?
Well, it's about like in search of like the thing that makes them happy, so they go off to look for it. Yeah, they're still not content. They have 8 of cups, but they're looking for more. They're looking for 10. So that journey, the journey to happiness.
So maybe
So
Sag
maybe,
needs to plan a trip.
hmm, yeah, another trip. Hmm.
It's just
So I feel like, maybe Sag hasn't been like really going deep within themselves. Like they've been like surface level, like, um, there's more to the story almost for Sag.
there's a lot of vessels and vases here, so it just feels like a need to empty out. Like,
Or maybe they feel their vessel is empty, or they don't know that it's empty and they need to fill it up.
yeah,
Hmm. Like something more spiritual, something that they,
definitely mysterious there.
hmm. Okay, so next we have here Capricorn.
Oh, this is nice for Capricorn. The Ace of Cups, ecstasy.
Hmm. Huh. And I have make new friends. It says, get
Nice.
out there and make new friends. Don't hide in the shadow.
And we've got the butterfly of transformation.
Hmm. And I see that they're hiding their face with the sunflower here. Hmm. It's very interesting.
So Capricorn needs to take a break from work and do something social.
Hmm. Yeah, right. Already have plans. But yeah. Yeah. Whenever I'm done, maybe I'll take it into consideration. Yeah, but that's a really nice energy with
It is.
the ecstasy and making new friends. Maybe there's
Mars,
friends that they're afraid to open up to, stuff like that.
well, and the flowers represent spring and new beginnings.
Hmm. Yeah,
Nice. Nice, Cappy.
I know.
And it's
Nice.
an earth energy like Virgo, so it should be very, the eclipse should trigger, you know, positive opportunities,
Hmm.
which it sounds like it has been for you.
Yeah, I mean it's different. I don't know. I'm getting a mixture, but I think it's because I have a Virgo ascendant, so it's just weird for me. I don't know what the word is. Weird. Aquarius, I have here avoid toxic people.
I have the chariot, so run like hell away from them. Oh,
Yeah. So let's see here. They're poisonous. Hang out with people who will uplift your spirit, not bring you down. So maybe this energy is bringing back like some poisonous people. Um, yeah.
just keep on going.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no need for that. If you were doing good, there's no need to sip on that. So, yeah.
We've got the falcon. It looks like a book.
Is that
Some,
strings or is that a runway or something? Like a path?
it is. It's like a landing pattern.
Hmm. Oh, the airplane.
Airplane.
Mhm.
There's some kind of there's a crab up here next to the guy's head. So maybe there's a cancer. Let's see, right there.
Mhm. Well, the chariot is like the Cancer.
Yeah,
So, Um, maybe it's a Cancer person you got to run like hell from.
Yeah, because Cancer's not going through a good time right now.
Yeah, and if they're toxic, then you know what to do.
Say bye bye.
Mm-hmm. I'll be okay. This too shall pass. Yeah.
Very interesting. I like these cards. They have a lot going on.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so finally we have Pisces.
Last but not least. So we have Eight of Wands saying harmony.
Oh, I see. It says forgiveness is for you. Forgive others and yourself because your what's it, soul deserves peace.
Yes.
Hmm.
And this is Eight of Wands harmony.
Okay. So there could be quick communication. You could be talking, like, remember you were saying like this energy could be about like arguments and stuff.
And this is very artsy too. There's a lot of musical instruments here.
Hmm. Maybe sending someone a song or a piece of music, you know, singing or playing.
You know, when you talk about forgiveness, you can forgive someone, but you can't make that someone accept your forgiveness. And that has to be okay. You just have to
Hmm. Accept it.
accept it and not try to
Force it on.
force it or, yeah, don't let it stop you from still feeling the forgiveness.
I
It
think
is,
Pisces, they always want to try, you know.
so there are harps and the drum and a horn and a violin. It makes me want to tell Pisces to go listen to a symphony.
Yeah, like classical music. Maybe
Yeah,
they'll.
like, yeah, soothe their soul
Oh.
through the music.
That's gonna bring out the emotion in Pisces, you know, because they can really be melodramatic at sometimes too.
Yeah,
Yeah. Um,
I like that.
mhm, mhm. So I think I'll be all right, Pisces.
Nice.
Yeah.
So, an interesting mix of energies, right?
Yeah, very different. So what's to come? So we're gonna be in this eclipse, like the lunar eclipse.
So, we have a solar Aries new moon on March 29th,
Mm-hmm.
which is a
Okay.
Saturday.
So you wanna do go on the 28th, which is
28th.
the Friday.
Does that work for you?
Yeah, because then we'll cover the final bits at the end of the month, and then we'll get a sneak peek into like, because we'll be halfway through the retrograde at that point.
Right, right.
Hmm.
Um, and we'll also be seeing some of what was triggered with this lunar eclipse, which I
Mm.
think is going to, as far as mundane astrology is concerned, I think is going to be evolved a lot around the medical industry because ultimately Virgo is the healer, you know, nurses, in that kind of industry. So, you've already started hearing the rumblings of disruptions with Medicare, and then we were talking about the artificial intelligence with how that's going to be helping people, you know, with like prosthetics,
Mhm,
and
mhm.
they plant these microchips in a spine that for someone who's been crippled, you know, and it helps them their those nerves relearn or send the signal to the brain to make them move their legs so they can walk.
Mhm, Mhm.
it's just fascinating.
Mhm.
So the 28th, same time, same bat channel.
Yes, and then the time changed. So, is that a good time, or do you want to go a little bit early? Let me know.
Well, it's up to you because you're 3 hours. So it
Okay.
would have been 4:15 for you today instead of
Mhm.
5:15.
And that's okay. Yeah, cause my schedule is flex, and we're doing this, like, twice a
Okay.
month, so it's fine with me. Mhm.
So let's do the 7:15 Eastern time.
Because I think, like, we're doing this kinda late. I don't even know what time it is there for you.
It's after 11.
Yeah, that's late.
Isn't that terrible that after 11 would be late for a person?
Yeah, yeah, I mean, like, I know, when we get up in that age, and it's like
It's just, but I had so much fun. I went out to that concert on a Sunday night,
Mhm,
and you always think of Sunday night as, oh, get ready for work the next day.
mhm.
And I had a great time. I was sort of hesitant at first and got there. It was a great show and great fun. I danced and yelled and sang. And Monday when I was at work, I was hoarse, but I still kind of felt like this smiley
Energy.
kind of energy. Yeah, I was like,
Mhm.
it was a tribute band to Queen.
Mhm, mhm.
And I really enjoyed it. So there's this great little theater about 30 miles from me. It's like kind of out in the middle of nowhere, but it used to be a movie theater like back in the 40s and 50s, and it's been through lots of reincarnations. And 8 or 9 years ago, whoever bought it put like $4 million into renovating it. It's got a great sound system. It's like the beautiful, old timey inside theater
Mhm.
architecture. I think it seats, I want to say it only seats like
100 or something.
1,500 people,
Oh,
maybe.
15.
I
Oh,
think that's the max.
okay.
And so in February, I went to see a Michael Jackson tribute artist. He was great, danced great, had professional dancers. Really enjoyed that. February, um, so that was February. Here, March, I went to see a Queen tribute. April, there's a Bee Gees tribute. May, there's an Elvis tribute.
Oh, wow, you're gonna be busy.
So, and tickets are like anywhere from 35 to $42. I mean,
Mhm.
there's not a bad seat in the house, and it's intimate enough that like many of these artists will like come out after the show and greet you and you get pictures, and it's just a really nice way to decompress.
Oh, yeah, yeah, definitely, especially if you're a music goer and stuff like
Yeah.
that, and that was your thing.
So I
Um
think from being online to buy tickets for stuff, I've started getting feeds, and there's this whole series in another area. I'm not familiar with the theater or whatever at all, but it's candlelight concerts,
Mhm, mhm,
and it's kind of like chamber music, but they do tributes to like modern pop artists like
mhm.
Sting and Adele. And anyway, I thought, well, that would be really weird. And when I was looking at that, they had this thing called Edgar Allan Poe's Speakeasy.
Hmm.
And it's in this building that's like kind of like what used to be the Shriners. It's a really big, old, sort of Gothic looking building.
Mhm.
And historians are going to be um, doing 4 Edgar Allan Poe stories, and each one will have its custom cocktail.
Huh.
So it's cocktails and Edgar Allan Poe history.
Wow. Well, that sounds like a nice twist to like
Isn't
just
it weird? And it's
yeah.
on it's a little more expensive and I want to go. I hope I go. I'm
Hmm.
like, it's across town, 4 cocktails. I better be careful. I guess you don't have to drink the whole cocktail, but they said they were having custom cocktail based on whatever the story was going to be. That they,
Hmm.
I think that sounds interesting.
Yeah. Well, maybe the
We'll see.
friend, little loosey
I
goosey.
actually sent the link to this girl that I knew who has been, mentioned Edgar Allan Poe before
Mm-hmm.
and asked her if she'd be interested in going, and I haven't heard back. She's
Oh.
a hermit. She hardly goes out for anything. So,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah,
Well, well, there's other
lots,
people out there.
yeah,
Mr. Barry.
yeah, yeah. That'd be fun.
Uh,
I left there thinking, you only live once, and
mm-hmm.
it gets to a certain point where you just need to put it out there. And if it's not an avenue, it's you find out you don't have to wonder anymore.
Yeah, life's too short.
Life's too short. You might as
Mm-hmm.
well, you know, find out.
Yeah, sounds good.
I have to wait to see if I have another car issue. Make up a car issue. What did I have? Something happened, and I was like, well, maybe I'll call and ask if that's normal.
Well, I mean, you do drive back and forth, and you're going to be driving tomorrow, I think. And so you never know.
You never know.
Yeah, you might be passing by.
Yeah.
You're just in the
So
neighborhood.
this place where I went, so a long time ago, it was like the country, and it's
Mhm.
where I went to high school.
Oh, well,
When
that
I went to
far?
high school, it's like 14 miles from me. When I
Oh,
went to high school, it was the high school, a fire station, and this little pharmacy, and that was
mm,
it. So if
mm-hmm,
you skipped class, you needed wheels to get somewhere because there was nothing around there.
mm-hmm,
Now it's all like developed and 4 lanes and all this stuff. But that pharmacy is still there, the original one, and it's your old timey, um, like hot grill, like you sit at a counter on stools, and they've
mm-hmm.
got the griddle and everything, and they fix breakfast and lunch, and that's it. So I did go in there, and I was sitting there eating breakfast and thinking, gosh, this place it's been there 50 years at least. It was there way before I ever knew about it,
Uh-huh, uh-huh.
and it's one of the only privately owned pharmacies left around here.
Mm. Well, it's a blessing that they still have survived throughout all because they
And
were just
it's
one.
tiny. I mean,
Uh-huh.
you hit the front door, you have like 3 little aisles that has product. You have your little kitchen like counter, and then in the back there's a couple of tables, and to the right is the pharmacist. It's a tiny little building. It's amazing. It's amazing.
Well,
But
maybe that's why they introduced like the whole diner experience,
yeah,
because they needed to supplement.
I think they're kind of known for their like old fashioned milkshakes because those like big metal ice cream freezers that they open the door and they have those big tubs of ice cream, and
Mhm.
then they have like those blenders that have the metal tumblers, and they
Mhm.
the
Mhm.
really old fashioned way.
Right.
I was sitting there and this family came in. The next thing you know, the guy's like trying to dig down into the tubs of ice cream, making 4 milkshakes. for this family. It was like 10:30 in the morning. They're drinking chocolate milkshakes. We're like, okay, I guess that's one way to.
That's a good milkshake.
Yeah, that's one way to start the day. I was sitting there eating eggs and toast.
uh, well, maybe it's good. It was that good.
Yeah, I've always liked that little place.
Yeah.
And the building that was my high school is now a middle school, and they had to build a new high school down the road. So
Mm-hmm.
I look at that building now, and I remember when I went to there, it seemed so big and overwhelming trying to find classrooms and stuff. And when you look at it, it's like really not that big of a building. Isn't that weird how you remember things differently than they really are?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I have yet to go back to um my school that I went to, but it's in North Carolina, and my very first school was the YMCA, but it was in like a church-like building.
Right?
So to go back to see that building would be like really going back down memory lane because I remember there was a duck pond across the street and we used to feed it bread. And
Oh,
yeah, it was a really nice, quaint little school. And then yeah, and then I went to like an elementary school, and there used to be like a haunted house. We call it the Boogeyman's house.
oh, wow.
Yeah, because it was like this wooden shack with an ominous glowy
Ooh,
like light in his window, but it was dingy, but there was always like stories about the boogeyman.
wow.
But I never saw like the person come in and out of that house, but it was like right there next to the school. And then every time when you go to the candy store, because back in the day,
Yeah.
they had candy stores, and you just walk to
Yeah.
your candy store, get like a 5 cent now and
Right.
later, or like Dum Dums or something.
Those big glass counters that they'd scoop the M&Ms out of.
Yeah, yeah, it's like that was the thing. It was the candy stores across the street from the school, so they knew what they were doing.
Right, right.
But those were back in the day, when they had stuff like that. Now we don't have candy stores like that,
Yeah,
like in the mall or something. Um, but yeah, like I remember, like I would always like save my coins in the piggy bank and like try to pocket some. I was like, oh, me and my friends, we're gonna go to the candy store, on this day,
right.
to get our little candies and stuff, and those are good times actually. So, but
Yeah,
yeah, I don't really remember what the school looked like. I just remember like the experiences. I don't even remember what the candy store looked like either. I just know it was along the way.
right.
But yeah.
Yeah, good times. We
Mhm.
we were more free.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like for me, I was up past 8 o'clock, when it was dark outside and still walking around outside late at night. And
Catching fireflies in a jar.
yeah, because we didn't have internet back then and our entertainment was outside. So we found stuff to do, like riding bikes and
Right,
doing physical stuff.
right. Hula hoops.
Yeah, that was a thing. Yeah. My mom said, you got to learn how to hula hoop because you have to know how to be sexy, like moving around. Like,
No.
I don't know. It's just simple stuff like that. Anyway. All right, honey. I'm going to
Yeah,
have to let you go.
yeah, we'll reconvene in a couple of weeks, and everybody just keep it between the lines. Take
Mm-hmm.
a deep breath. Don't be too reactive. This too
Mm-hmm.
shall pass, is how I feel about it.
Yes, and if you guys need to book a reading with Sunny, now's the perfect time to do it.
Yes,
Lion
celebrate
Mountain.
International Astrology Day.
Yeah. Yeah, just go ahead and visit lionmountainhealing.com.
Thank you very much. I appreciate everyone's time and attention,
Mhm.
and everything's going to be okay.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
All right. Well, thank you,
See you
and
later. I'm going to
we
go
will.
get my little fur kids out for a little while. And your
That
little
sounds
fur
good.
kids doing okay?
Yeah, she was under like between my legs, so I was rubbing her under the desk.
Okay.
She's being quiet now. She doesn't bark or but
Aw.
she came up and tried to. I think she's hungry. So.
Yeah, she's letting you know it's time.
Mhm. Mhm.
All right, then. Well, I'm signing off, and everybody rest well and see you in a few weeks.
Okay. All
All
right.
right. Bye.
Okay. All right. Bye.